Okay. Okay. All right. Why'd you break the heart?
There was a previous comment about accountability, which I found to be kind of a red flag, not because I don't take accountability, but it usually means that you are looking for the other person's issues versus also taking accountability.
I don't know what that means.
That's okay.
I just know that the word accountability means is just owning to who you are.
Right.
And just being honest. And when you're wrong, like I know I could be wrong sometimes. And I'm down to say when I'm wrong.
Totally.
Is she someone that's your type aesthetically?
Aesthetically, first surfacely, yes.
Okay. Okay.
I'm a surface person.
Okay. You like to go a little deeper. What's in the heart? What's in the heart?
It's wild that y'all want me to take you serious in my DMs, but I still pay for my coffee every morning. It's the little things.
No, I'm gonna be all right. You guys go in there buying this stuff and acting like you're doing something. I'm gonna be all right.
This is no shade, no tea. What are the men doing with the 10 and 15 pound weights at the gym? Now, I genuinely ask this because I'm like, should I be doing that with like a 2 pound weight and a 5 pound weight? Like, what are you guys doing? Because you're all muscly, but you're also taking my 10 and 15 pound weights. So what are you doing with them? Should I be doing that with 2s and 5s? Please let me know.
I see a lot of dudes talking about working your smaller muscles, rehabilitation, doing lateral raises, bench press. Another dude said I use them to prop up my phone and watch TikTok.
Women, do not get married and have kids unless you plan on and are capable of becoming a single mom. Because 9 times out of 10, 8 times out of 10, I don't know, statistically high, that's probably what's gonna happen to you. Now, I love being a mom. I really do. And in fact, I quite enjoy most of the time being a single mom. This is not fair. The world is not set up for single moms. You will struggle.
If you enjoy being a single mom so much, why are you on camera crashing out right now?
I mean, they citing the septum ring theory in the comments. I don't know.
So I made a video the other day about how a tall woman's biggest hater is a man that's a little shorter than her. And I'm gonna explain my theory on why I think that is, because I think it goes way beyond this. I think there's a lot more nuance that a lot of people don't think about. And honestly, I think it all comes back to the fact that we care way too much about how tall a man is. We are constantly telling men, you ain't worth unless you're 6 feet tall. No one wants to date you, which is mean and weird. We keep raising that bar, raising that bar, raising that bar. Now it's 6'5" finance blue eyes. Any man under 5'7" is a labubu. We hate on short men. We gaslight them saying we love short kings, but we actually don't. I could do a completely separate video about women posturing on here being like, I would never date a man under 6 feet. When we give men clout and we call them desirable for something that they have not worked for or have any sense of control over, it messes with their mental. A lot of them have massive egos. Undateable. And that cutoff that we have, 6 feet tall, is so unrealistic. And men enforce it on each other too, because tall men want to feel superior. So when you've internalized these ideas of, oh, I have to be taller than a girl for her to like me, well, I walk in the room and he has nothing to offer me. In his mind, it doesn't matter if that's true or not, he has nothing. And so now come the jokes, now come the, oh, you played basketball? I bet you have no trouble reaching the top shelf. Why are you wearing heels? Haha, you're already so tall. Leave me alone. But then we get to the nuance. The guys that are negging me are not any guy that's shorter than me. It's just guys that are around my height, a little bit shorter. Why is that? Nothing hurts more than almost qualifying for something. And that's why you don't see men that are like significantly shorter than me hating on me. In fact, short guys are some of my biggest cheerleaders. And now for some more nuance, because I think the fact that I'm 6'1", these guys that are just a little bit shorter than me, they are in that 6 foot club. The one where women tell them, oh, now you're worthy of dating. They are probably used to looking down on short men. I'm not a short king. Don't worry, baby, you can wear heels with me. I can't. I mean, I could, and I would, and I will. But like, you're gonna be shorter than me. And that bothers them because again, we shun short men. We say they are not masculine, they are not worth dating. And now I walk in the room and now the tables are turned and they are the thing that they make fun of. They are the labubu. And now they're gonna take it out on me because I'm not just tall for a girl, I am tall. And I am disrupting their sense of identity and what they have to offer women. And somebody secure is going to experience that and go, Okay, well, I have a lot of other things to offer her. I'm still gonna talk to her and I'm still gonna show up confident, but some people don't. My point in saying all this isn't to like bash people or shame people or whatever, but I do think it's important for everyone to kind of understand like where this behavior is coming from and look within themselves, men and women, to try to like stop doing it. Like, let's just be so for real. Height does not matter that much. It should not matter. This is something that is so irrelevant to someone's character that it is actually shocking to me why people care so much. So that's my 2 cents on this. Let me know if you think this is on point, because I think there's something here.
And if I don't get cracked by tonight, everybody will feel it. Everybody will suffer.
Yep. Okay. Last one. Yep. Drop it and then take off your blindfold. Okay. Right? Yeah. Look. Okay. Now there's this box right there. Okay. Open it up. Open it up. You know? What is this? Open it up and read it out loud to your family. You weren't gonna say anything. I was gonna tell you. Why? Why wait 13 years? I love you. No, you.
Let them know that you just told me that you just got pregnant by another guy and we're supposed to be married.
But you know what? That don't even matter because we got a baby on the way, so we can be able to take care
Who
of it.
has a baby on the way?
I'm about to say, I have a baby on the way.
Yeah, you have a baby on the way.
Yes, but this baby can also be yours. What are you talking about?
What you mean can also be mine? I didn't get you pregnant, somebody else did.
But right now, that doesn't really even matter. We have a baby that's about to come into the world.
You have a baby that's about to come into the world. You have a baby that's coming to the world. We don't have anything that's coming to the world together.
Exactly, but you're going to be a great father.
Who's the baby father?
That doesn't even matter, bro.
Who's the baby father?
It doesn't matter.
Look, let me tell you something. Don't let these women fool y'all. Women do know how to submit. They just don't like submitting to a man. But when it comes to their job, they'll submit real quick. They'll clock in on time. They'll keep their mouth shut. They'll smile when they don't want to smile and deal with people they don't even like. Why? Because that paycheck got them in check. But the second it comes to love, the second it comes to that man that they say they're in love with, that they respect, that they want to build a life with, oh, it's attitude time. Oh, now it's, why I gotta do all that? Or, you ain't my daddy. And that's backwards, because that job ain't gonna lay his life down for you. That job ain't gonna love you. But that man that you refuse to respect, that's the one that would die for you. So answer me this. How is it that you can submit to a boss who don't even give a damn about you, but you can't submit to the man who actually does?
I think I'm just going to go ahead and give the young men a shot. I'm thinking, I'm 34. It almost feels criminal. 10 years younger. So I'm going to say I'm going to go about 26, 25.
And you're going to go on this hiatus of getting your cheeks clapped. And then a man is going to say, actually, no, I don't want this. You're going to be back on here having to try to impress the young men again. Be safe.
I've been heavily reflecting on posting about approaching a man. I got a lot of backlash for it from a lot of people I don't know. A lot of people were like, oh my gosh, that's desperate. A lot of people were just like, oh, like what self-respecting woman would ever do something like that? You don't love yourself. People were ruthless, but I think, that's people's opinion about how gender roles should play in terms of seeking out relationships. It's totally fine. But I think it was very telling about the disconnect between how men and women seek out relationships. It was very interesting that a majority of the men in my comments were saying things like, well, now you know how it feels to be a man. Sometimes we have to go up to 12 people just to get one number. And I'm just like, wow, but that's not the goal. Like, that's literally not the KPI. And now my brain is just like, is this what you guys do? Your goal, your KPI is to get one number and that's it. You gotta get someone's number. It doesn't matter whose number it is, so long as it's a number. Versus, like, I think a lot of women are just like, I'm so nervous because the person that I really want to approach is someone I only want to approach. I don't want to entertain the idea of anybody else. I don't like 10 guys enough to approach them, to leave with one number. It's like I'm going out and I'm approaching this person because I just want to get to know that person. I'm not approaching them as a number in the game of numbers to try to secure one number at the end of a long list of outreaches. That was just really interesting. It was kind of upsetting.
I don't think she gets it. Men are doing that because the woman isn't interested in them. And she's saying in the comments, in response to somebody, I think that the difference is, and I'll speak for myself, I'm not normally interested in anyone, which is why if I'm ever compelled to approach someone once every few years, I want to approach only them. Right. But that's how it goes for you. For most men, whenever they approach, they might go to a singles event and they might see a beautiful girl and they say, oh, I'm really interested in her. They go and try to talk to her. Guess what? Surprise, surprise. She does not want him. If he stays in her face, he's a creep. So that's why he says, okay, well, that's not for me. Like they say, to move on. I move on to the next woman. And now she's shaming me for not coming up to her. What do you want the man to do? To stay single? I'm looking for somebody else that's willing to be with me. Well, I don't want to be just a number to you. You're not. It's just that I went to go find somebody and they didn't want me. And now I'm just looking for somebody that's interested. Are you interested? Are you not? It's a catch-22. Men can't win. A man can wait. He can go for who he really wants. But if y'all don't want the man, you don't want the man in your face. Y'all say y'all feel unsafe when the man won't leave. You just got to give him your number. It's a woman in the comments saying that right now. I feel unsafe if he stays in my face. I feel like he's a creeper. Okay, then. That's why I moved around and went to go find somebody else. But now you have a problem with me going and doing that.
This is why I need a man, because you're telling me I just got my hair done. I paid for it myself. Now I got to get this package all the way to the 3rd floor while I'm wearing my purse and I'm just looking scrumdiddlyocious. Are you for real right now?
I feel sorry for you, sis. That's what, $200 or $300 down a drain? You about to sweat that thing out.
For all the straight women on here, you have got to get off the dating advice side of TikTok if you ever want to be happy. I am so serious right now. I was very entrenched in it for a while, I got to be entirely honest. But then I realized, oh my gosh, so much of this is sex work advice. And of course, much love to the sex workers, it is valuable advice for sex workers, but it's just not for the general dating population. And so much of it is the conservative pipeline, so much bioessentialism, acting as though there's inherent differences between men and women, and you should have expected this man to be this way. And while pretending to be like a feminist space, so much of it is just completely shifting the blame onto the women that you should have known better. Something that is inherently gray, such as dating, they treat it as a black and white thing that you can logic and plan your way out of being hurt. And going back to the bioessentialism point, with so much doom and gloom surrounding that men are inherently bad, I just had this moment where I realized, okay, you can only throw bell hooks, the will to change, at them so much before you realize, oh, these people just want to be miserable, and they want you to be as miserable as they are. I remember one time I was talking in a comment section about this. I am 28 years old. I have had 4 serious relationships in my adult life. 3 of them were perfectly lovely. I have nothing bad to say about these men. And then women in this space tried to gaslight me that no, that wasn't the case, that I must have been somehow being taken advantage of. And I'm like, no, that's not true. You gotta get off that side of TikTok. There's nothing happy over there. Nothing good will come from it for you. And of course, if you are tired of all of this, absolutely don't date. Just don't do it. And that's perfectly okay. Nobody should force you into anything. But just, this content is not good for you. It is rotting your brain and making you a conservative.
Intimacy with your husband is not optional. It's owed. If that makes you squirm, good. Lean in. 1 Corinthians 7:3 says, let the husband render unto the wife due benevolence, and likewise also the wife unto the husband. That word render means to give, to hand over something that's owed. And what are we called to render here? Benevolence. In this context, it's intimacy, it's affection, it's closeness, conjugal duty. Yes, you know exactly what Paul's talking about here. And he says it's due, it's owed, it's not optional. Not if you feel like it. Not if the kids went to bed on time. Not if your husband remembered to switch the laundry for you. No, it's a responsibility in marriage both ways. Verses 1-5 of this chapter give us the full picture. Marriage is where intimacy belongs, and it's not to be withheld. Paul literally says, Your body doesn't even belong to you. It belongs to your spouse. That means affection isn't optional. It's owed, not out of drudgery, not like paying off a bill, but because this is how God designed marriage to thrive. It's not just about when we want it. The word says likewise, meaning you owe it to him and he owes it to you. It's mutual. But ladies, here's where we miss it. We use intimacy as leverage. We withhold it when we're mad. We treat it like a reward when he's done everything right. But when you do that, you're not just frustrating your husband, you're disobeying God's design. And worse, you're opening the door for temptation in your marriage. That's one of those little foxes that we talked about yesterday, those sneaky little things that creep in and destroy love at the root. So here's the truth. Intimacy is not a bargaining chip. And when we withhold, we're not only robbing our husbands, we're robbing ourselves of that connection, the joy, the unity that God designed for marriage. You cannot skip this part. Render what's due. Close the door to the foxes and stop treating intimacy like an option when God says it's an obligation.
Well, only these modern women out here are going to say they want a good, godly man. And then when you present the word to them, they're going to argue and say, that's not what it means. What does submission actually mean? Does the Bible actually say that?
I saw a video of a woman saying, who I assume was a leftist, by the way, saying, sometimes a man hurts every woman who comes into his life because his true soulmate is a man. So the joke is that he's gay. And the idea that the purpose or the intent behind that video is to put homosexuality in a bad light. You are in turn making fun of gay people, the fact that he is gay, but you're a leftist. And I see that specific instance a lot where it's like misandrous making fun of dudes who are like secretly gay, but then they're also in the leftist rhetoric. So it's like, are you homophobic or not? So I almost kind of explained it. The underlying evil in that subdivision of leftist culture is that the misandrist people, like the online women who just only care about slandering men, they use other people who they apparently also support, but they throw those people under the bus to make fun of men, to put men in a bad light. So if they can put men in a bad light, they'll use anyone else to as a weight to drag men down.
And another question I have is, how come I only see the moms buying school supplies and school clothes? Do dads even do that?
This is why you guys are struggling in your marriage. It's all a performance. Look at me. Look at what I'm doing. Look at how much I'm doing more than you.
When it comes to shooting your shot at women in public, there actually is a way to go about it without making them feel uncomfortable or annoyed. Listen, when men shoot their shot at me, they're shooting at a target that's not there because I'm fruity. But I was just sitting in traffic and I looked to my left and this dude in the passenger seat of the car next to me has his window down and he's smiling and waving at me. And, you know, like a decent human, I smile and wave back. But then he points to this message he has held up on his phone. And it literally just says, #need that. And I'm sorry, but it got a giggle out of me. Would it have worked if I were straight? The world may never know. That's funny.
Habitual man hater here that just happens to be in a relationship with a man. I find it so crazy how a lot of women will flip on other women as soon as they get into a relationship because all of a sudden they become male centered. That logic sounds so dumb to me. A lot of y'all are single and miserable. A lot of y'all are single because y'all are intolerable. A lot of y'all are single because y'all are only dating men for experiences. Why the f*** you want this man to take you on wine tastings and trips and all this other shit? You've never even done that for yourselves. You can't even afford to. A lot of y'all are complaining saying, why would I waste money to put gas in my car to go on this date? Just say you're broke and shouldn't be dating in the first place. Just say that. It always comes off as miserable, especially when y'all give opinions on like, oh, he bought her flowers. Like, that's bare minimum. His flowers is $14. When the fuck has a man ever bought you some flowers? And then saying some shit like, oh, I don't date men because I know my worth. I'm just waiting my time. I know my worth. I know my... No, the f*** don't. You've accepted worse before. You've accepted a man not buying you and still stayed. But you're just miserable and single. So now all of a sudden you have these opinions and these think pieces.
I've had an alarming amount of conversations with women about how their boyfriends or the guy that they're seeing like doesn't like to eat box, and they say it in such a way that it's like normal, or like No, like, it's fine, though. Like, it's just not really his thing. Queen, I fear you have a fruitcake on your hands, okay? That is a gay man.
The man's weak, he's gay, all of this stuff. But a woman in the comments says, or maybe they're OCD and they think it's gross unless you take a shower. Some of you guys walk around here smelling. Maybe it's that. Some of you guys be talking about stuff and y'all really don't have the best hygiene.
This is why men should not be allowed to sit at bars as a woman in STEM and corporate in Miami. I posted a TikTok about how so many men were sitting at the bar disproportionately when I've been going to my favorite local bar in Brickell. And I've noticed that even as a woman, there's almost like a reverse in polarity in the bar scene or even nightlife scene where, you know, women are usually the ones who are sitting at the bar stools. You're approached by men. You get to conversate much more easily because you're in your feminine energy, right? You're approachable. And if you listen to a lot of love stories from people in past generations who met their partners out in nightlife or at the bars, the women were always approached by their partners, you know, whether they were on the dance floor or maybe they were at the bar sitting and having a cute little cocktail and then their future husband noticed them. But what I noticed in my comments in my last video is that so many men were triggered by me posting that silly little TikTok and saying, oh, well, there needs to be equality or that, you know, I have the right to sit at the bar, blah, blah, blah. And what's this highlighting is that one, a lot of people don't understand that the polarity in relationships is reversing where a lot of men are more so in their feminine energy in an unhealthy way where they're more passive or they have a unhealthy idea that being masculine or being in your masculine energy means having to control a woman. They think it's about asserting dominance and power, and that's not true masculine leadership, right? Getting up and giving up your seat at the bar does not mean that you're losing control. It means you're creating a safe container for the women at the bar where the women know, hey, I'm going to be provided for even if it's in little ways. I can rest my feet. I can sit down comfortably. A matter of fact, like, if you're doing that as well with good intentions and not like ulterior motives, like those women, right, or whatever woman you give up your seat for, you never know, that can lead to another date, but you have to be willing to kind of lead and provide that energetic container for a lady to feel safe, to feel comfortable, to like feel like she can just loosen up and have fun while she's out. And a lot of men are losing touch with this in real life. And I saw in my comments, you know, how many men were losing touch with the art of socializing in real life. And it's funny because there's a lot of conversations about the male loneliness epidemic, but whenever I talk to older gentlemen in particular, because I'm not someone who dates a lot of men or young guys around my age. I'm 26. I'm attracted, I think, more intellectually and emotionally, as well as just given where I'm at in terms of my career, to older men. They don't really know what I'm talking about when I bring up the male loneliness epidemic. And they also say that, well, if you're somebody with emotional intelligence, if you know how to socialize, if you know how to engage with women in real life and be a gentleman, chivalrous, provide that masculine leadership and safety, and not go in with this mindset of, oh, well, I'm all about equality, or, you know, I'm all about, you know, being the man, you know, I need to be respected, right? These men are going out with this energy of, how can I make women's lives easier? How can I make this woman comfortable? And how can I, you know, make sure she enjoys my presence so she's not thinking about other things, right? Think about it. Even little things like if you have to stand in your heels, which, by the way, just want to show you some of my heels, like, these hurt, right? Think about these ladies that are like wearing shoes like this, or like the straps cutting your toes after you've been walking and standing. Like, men need to think about these little things. But that's just my 2 cents and my little rant on why men should stand at bar.
Dude in the comments, simping, talking about, I always give up my seat at the bar. I don't get what the issue is. The issue is these modern women expect you to take care of them, to protect and provide for them, while they get online right here trashing you. I'm not about to get up and give my seat up to somebody that continues to trash me. Fellas, grow up. I am grown, which is why I've decided to set a boundary and ask you to leave me alone.
And if I don't get cracked by tonight, everybody will feel it. Everybody will suffer.
Do men want to date modern women? And a traditional woman, and in this dating scene, especially as you get older, there's like traditional things out there. Like, dudes like want traditional not traditional. They want modern, like modern women. Modern women mean y'all just out here doing whatever, and you have to fight for the dude if you really want him in your life, and it's a competition, and ain't nobody finna settle. Like when a man says that I'm not fixing to settle, that means that he's not fixing to stop dating multiple women and settle for one woman. Like, and we're signing up for it because that's the only options that's out there. Men are winning because there's so many women that just want a piece of a man. So modern women aren't learning to have to share a man. Like, let me know if I'm like, am I right or am I wrong? Like, y'all are learning to share men. You just want to be the top.
And this is why men check out, and that's why they stay single, because that is the case for a lot of these women. Even though they're saying, no, I would never accept that, the fact is they are accepting that. Once that bag is bought from them, I was just talking to my wife about this this afternoon, right? We were at lunch, and I said, I know people, I'm going to say their name, but I know people that have dated professional athletes, and they go in there and they fix themselves up and they look good. And then they get there and the professional athlete, kind of comes in there. He throws $500-$600 down on some perfume or on a bag, and they think that's the standard. And then they spend the rest of their lives until they're like 40, 45, 50 years old, until they just can't do it anymore, or the scene is just completely forced them out. They spend those years trying to get back to that level. They might hook another one, maybe 2 or 3, but those relationships don't really go anywhere, right? And then they don't seem to really comprehend that man who's dating you and buying you that $500 bag and taking you out to dinner every so often when he's in town, right? Kind of breadcrumbing you, honestly. You don't understand that he's doing that with another woman in another city. When he touches down, say for instance, I better not let that information out. Let's just say this particular person played for the Minnesota Vikings. When he's in Minnesota, he's with you. When he goes to Houston, he's with another woman. When he goes to New York, he's with another woman, and so on and so forth. Y'all thinking that you're so unique, you gonna get this man and he's gonna be only paying attention to you. That's delusional. He doesn't have to, and he's not going to. You're the finest person in the room right there for that moment. There might be a woman come after you 5-10 minutes later. There probably gonna be another one in New York, another 2 or 3 of them, and he gonna have all of them, maybe even in the same night. And y'all are doing this to yourselves.
Kind of crazy how things can change so quickly. I asked my husband for a divorce. This was in 2022, and he walked into the room, and I was on the bed, and I said, I think it's best we just get a divorce. I remember him turning around, walking out, closing the door without saying a word, because at this point we were just sleeping head to foot and operating like roommates. And so I thought I was getting some relief. Little did I know I was on the brink about to make one of the biggest mistakes of my life, and lose one of the biggest blessings that God has given me. However, how we got to where we are now is because I invited God into our relationship, and I began to pray for my marriage intentionally. When I say we tried everything, we tried therapy, we tried talking to friends and family, we tried date night. We would always argue on date night. We tried to spice up the bedroom. Nothing worked. The only thing that worked is when I remember being in the shower and I said, God, I ain't got nothing else. I literally, this is what I said. God, I don't have anything else. I need your help. And so after that day, I just started praying for him more intentionally. But what is funny is that while I was praying for him, God started dealing with me. And one of the things that God pointed out to me is that I had weak character. And he said that I need to work on my integrity. I need to work on respecting my husband, his position. It didn't matter what he was doing. I need to respect the fact that he was my husband. And I need to work on how I communicate, because sometimes this mouth can get me in trouble. Okay. So anyway, I'm like, God, I came to you to talk about him. Why are you talking to me? But little did I know, God was dealing with him too. And so as I'm praying for him, he was praying for me. And God just really just turned, gives me a little goosebumps, but he really turned our relationship all the way around. And so what we have now, the roses, the trips, the love, the security, and all the things was birthed out of prayer. nothing else. I can give credit to nothing else except God. And so hopefully anyone that is struggling with marriage or relationship and you just feel like, oh, don't know what to do, invite God in, call God, and I promise you, I promise, he will answer. I hope that helps. I love you. God bless you. I'll holla.
You know, I'm not going to shame her too much because, I mean, I could say, well, that he didn't have to tell you that because that's in the Bible. Like, that's what it says. When you talk about submission, that's what that says. And y'all act like y'all don't hear it. Y'all act like y'all don't understand it because y'all don't want to do it. Right? But you said you learning how to do it and you learning how to understand and respect the man. And I know, you know, sometimes people be reading stuff and they don't really know what they reading, or they really don't comprehend it until much later, years later. And when that finally hits them, then they're like, oh, shoot, yeah, why didn't I see this? So I get where you're coming from, and I'm continuing to hope that it works out.
My men out there, I have a question for y'all. Do y'all want y'all women to work and pay bills 50-50? Or do y'all want y'all women to be stay-at-home moms, stay-at-home wives? Do y'all want y'all women to pay the bills? Or do you guys think that it's okay for y'all to pay the bills because y'all are men? Now, these are the two circumstances. Young couples in their early 20s under circumstances where they both have to put in, understandable. Now, would you let her pay the utilities or you guys go 50-50 on rent? If you have enough money to afford all those bills, are you going to still make your woman pay bills? Do you guys think that that is a masculine thing for women to do? Pay bills while being with a man? I personally feel as though if you're a man and you're trying to court a woman, date a woman, marry a woman, why are you letting her pay bills? Help me understand, y'all, for real.
I mean, you can pay bills from your phone. You can pay bills online. It's just a piece of paper. What's masculine about going in there and exchanging the money? You guys buy groceries, don't you? Do you feel masculine when you do that? It's just money in exchange for service. I mean, when you're going into the store to buy school clothes for your kids, if they grow up and they buy their own clothes, do you feel less than a mother or less than a parent because they were able to buy their own clothes? Or do you feel happy? You say, no, I want to buy you keep your money as long as you can, but, you know, learn how to do things for yourself. Whenever you should be willing to do things for yourself. That's what you're training them for, right? I think that's what I'm trying to say. If you're training your kid to do things for themselves and they start doing things for themselves, or one day they just pop up and know how to do something for themselves, are you going to be mad at that? No, you're going to celebrate that. So when you as a woman come in knowing how to pay bills, knowing how to run the house, guess what that means for the man? More peace, less headache. That means that I don't have to do the heavy lifting all the time. There are times where I take on more of the load, where I just do it. Well, a man is supposed to, we're together in this. We're both people. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. So if you got to pay the bills while he works on something, do that. And then it reverses and it shifts and you start doing something and he has to pay the majority of the bills. And then when y'all both get up, y'all start paying the bills together. Or, okay, here's what you do. You take your check and put it on investments, put it on insurance or whatever and whatnot, and I'm going to handle these over here. That's the plan. But it doesn't make you masculine or feminine because you know how to take money out of your wallet or off of your card and give it to somebody and say thank you for the phone service, or thank you for the utilities, the electricity, the rent. Come on, guys, like, stop being delusional.
Women will claim to be an ally of the queer community and then in the same breath call a dude gay for drinking a strawberry lemonade or listening to Beyonce. Like, it's crazy. I was called gay for being a loyal boyfriend. True. I was at my boy's crib. He was having a little kickback. I was just enjoying the vibe, talking to people here and there. Of course, I'm playing wingman because my guys, they was trying to f the shorties. Fast forward a week later, the same girls that was at that party come to my crib. We just eating, having a little smoke sesh, just chilling, right? Eventually, the topic of dating comes up, and I show the girls a picture of my girlfriend. One of them goes, "Oh, Dante, I didn't know you had a girlfriend. We thought you were gay." So I asked, "What makes you think that?" She says with a straight face, "We all thought you were fine, but you were the only guy that wasn't flirting with us at the party, so we just thought you were gay. I was the only dude not hitting on you. So you assumed I slept with men.
All of my TikTok comments are saying that I'm not straight because I said that there are more pretty girls in the world than there are good-looking guys. I didn't know that that was controversial. I thought that that was just a widely accepted fact. Like, I've had conversations about this with my girlfriends, guy friends, they all agree. I'm not saying that, like Brad Pitt exists. Like, good-looking guys exist, for sure. There's just 10 good-looking women for every good-looking man. In my opinion, I thought it was fact. Do y'all agree?
There's a woman in the comments to break away through the delusion. She says, that's because us women call all the other women beautiful no matter how she looks. The only time we won't is if we don't like the other girl. We view men with a reality lens. Thank you, Anna.
Don't take this advice if this is with a girl who you don't actually want to marry, you don't actually want to really impress. Here is how to score the woman of your dreams and actually impress her without being toxic. This is coming from a single mom who has her own job, has her own money, has her own house, already has kids. So this is coming from the perspective of maybe an older group of people who've kind of like been there, done that, and frankly don't really need a relationship, but still would love to have one with the right partner. And so, of course, it all comes down to who the female is and what she really values. But I think that one of the things that's being overlooked right now, and people might get a little bit bitter about it, is this whole concept around how protecting and providing safety has really evolved over the last however many years, and definitely since COVID, as everything has just gotten so expensive. So to me, it's no longer just about providing safety. So yes, of course, your muscles and your body speak volumes about who you are as an individual. And I definitely think that if you want to give yourself more opportunities for love, it's an amazing thing to do for yourself to improve your nutrition and your physical and your mindset. But the real key here, the reality of today's society is that actually protecting includes providing. And it includes being in a state where you can make the female feel comfortable and safe and able to have a certain lifestyle that she is looking for. So for me, I am looking for someone who is a full provider. Why? Because I've already done that. I've already paid the bill. So I've already had that experience, and it's not something that I personally am trying to repeat. I'm not trying to split things 50-50, because I now finally understand the value that I can bring to the table when I'm not stressed to be able to provide all of that stuff for my family. I can do it, and I am doing it. And that's kind of the point, is with this type of a person who is already putting in the work and already understands the effort required, that's the type of person who I think you can actually really impress by really stepping up as that full, like, the traditional character. This is the traditional character. It's like the man who's going to provide, protect, provide the home, and then whatever she does, like, I can go still, work if I want to and buy whatever the fuck I want. But I want to know that when she's the fan, the guy who I'm with has the vision, has the capability to make shit happen, right? So that's not just about, hey, go build me a barn or paint my house. It's, can you get us out of this situation right now? Because life be lifing, you know what I'm saying? And so having a man with like real gumption and power who can take you to the finish line, that's real.
All this sounds great, but like somebody in the comments said, I know you're sincere, but there's some missing pieces in this. Everyone is tired of the work grind, but we shouldn't get into a relationship just so we can stop working. I know that's right. Another person responds and says, it's funny to me how many women are pushing this, not realizing the independence they've enjoyed has been from having access to their own money, not money bought in by a man. She responded to all that saying, oh, believe me, I fully understand the 25 years I put into corporate sales to earn my moment of freedom from my own effort and saving. We know. Then why do you decide after 25 years or however long it is, okay, I'm done working. I can provide in this way, so I'm looking for a man to just go ahead and continue grinding and working. If the dude that you're looking for, is making the money, you're not going to be doing a lot of working. It's the option. Optionally, I can do that. But you already know with the man making the type of money that you want the man to make, you're probably going to have it easier because he's probably going to be ordering out. You guys, even if you guys don't order out in the traditional sense or go out to eat in the traditional sense, you can probably get a food service or something like that. It's going to be worlds easier for you to take care of the cooking and worlds easier for you to take care of the cleaning. Essentially, what you want to do is come in and be a manager of sorts. Like, say, for instance, what's a coach in the NFL or the NBA that came over? A lot of people say Steve Kerr came in and took over for Mark Jackson, who had gotten the Golden State Warriors to a certain place. And now, Steve Kerr just comes, and I'm not saying that I agree. I'm just saying now Steve Kerr comes in and takes the Warriors to the championship. Well, the team is already built. It's not, I mean, you have to put in a few things here and there, excuse me, but there's not a lot that you have to do, right? There's another, he just slipped my mind. He slipped my mind. The year before in the NFL, that coach had him rocking and rolling. The next year, another coach comes in and he takes him to the Super Bowl. He takes him to the Super Bowl and then he gets the credit. This is what y'all are looking for. And this is the way it sounds to men. Okay, I done done all of the work. Now you come in here and you say, oh man, we went to the Super Bowl. Look what I did. And you put it on your resume, but you actually didn't do anything. The work was already done. It's because I left or situations happened that now you step in and say, oh yeah, I'll do this, I'll do that, I'll do this. Not saying that you didn't do any work. I'm just saying the vast majority. And when I say vast, I mean like 95% of the work has already been done. And you're not really going to be doing anything. So you're not really going to be bringing anything to the table. I mean, you put a plate and a fork on the table acting like you done something. I could have done that myself. What are you actually doing to provide for the house? Well, I got sales experience. Okay, great. What are you going to be doing with the sales experience? How is that going to help me? What are you going to be doing in this house that's going to benefit me besides me benefiting you on a daily, weekly, yearly basis?
Men are so disturbing and disruptive to women because of a lack of pretense. When you're not patient...
I love that you said men are so disturbing to women. What do you mean by that?
Well, you're disturbing to us because our safety is through connectivity. Mm-hmm. So we're like always trying to keep things calm and smooth, and communication is flowing and it keeps feeling good. And y'all don't care about that. Let's get something done. This isn't getting anything done. Let's cut to the chase. Let's get right to it.
If I'm not conscious, I will do that.
Yes, it's normal.
Yeah.
So to us, we don't understand why when you're impatient, you act impatient. You're supposed to be more mature than that. You could lack patience, but still do something that might be called gracious, like tone it down.
I see what you're saying. It's essentially saying, give me a little grace, compromise, work with me, right? Essentially, it's saying when a woman is trying to, okay, what about this detail? What about this? What about that? What about this? They're trying to essentially ensure that everything is going how it's supposed to go, right? They're trying to make sure that everything is in place. That's just naturally how their brain works. A man is thinking, okay, let's go from A to point B. And then when he tries to go from point A and you're stopping him, well, what about A1, A2, A3, A4? And pretty soon, instead of A to B, it's A to C. And if you keep on going, it's like now we have to stretch it out where the goal was B, and now the goal is actually Z. And we have all the way from A to Z, all those little things that need to get done, right? So can there be a little patience in there for me to get maybe A through M? And then maybe later on, we work on, I don't know, N through Z, right? But sometimes there's not time for that, right? Well, let's do this and let's do that. There's not time for that. I'll give you an example. A woman, I think you guys remember the clip where The man was trying to go see his daughter. So we got to get from point A. As soon as we get off that plane, she knew it. We got to get off that plane and get from point A to point B. That's from one plane to the next. We don't have time to stop and do anything. The main goal is to get from one terminal to the next terminal. She wants to stop by Starbucks and get a coffee. So now she's changing from point A to point C, and then point B would be Starbucks. I need to go to Starbucks first. No, you do not. The man says, if there's a coffee over there in the terminal, which is point B, still to him, then that will be fit in. And then B will be moved to C at that point because B has been accomplished. Now we can reroute it and say, okay, let's go back and get some coffee. That's the main priority right now. Instead of her going along with that, understanding that the man has a whole entire plan in his brain, and he already accounted and said, no, we're going to get coffee, but it can't be Starbucks. Maybe we'll get Starbucks when we land, but right now we got to get on that plane. I need to see my baby. You didn't want to hear that. She fooled around, went to Starbucks without him. He went to that plane without her, and she got left right there at the airport. So I get where you're coming from, but sometimes you guys need to understand that all this in between don't need to be done. You need to start trusting your man, and he needs to be patient with you. He needs to be gracious with you, right? We get it. But at some point in time, you got to trust your man to say, no, we got to get here. And the impatience comes from we're doing a lot of talking and not a lot of action is going on. We're doing all this yapping, but ain't nothing happening. We done been all day talking and just messing around. And then what's going to happen is I got to get to work when I get back to the house. I got to get up and go to work, and I ain't got nothing done. I get off work. I'm trying to do stuff. You got me running all around town. And then when I get home, I not been able to do the stuff that I needed to do. And you done got all the stuff that you needed to get done. And if that continues to happen, there's not going to be any more grace. Because I've told you multiple times, I'm trying to get this done. And you act like you understood me, but you continue to do whatever you want to do. So now when you're doing that, I'm disrupting your schedule and saying, wait a minute, I need to get this done. I keep on telling you that you're not hearing me. For the sake of our family, this has to get done. For the sake of the house, which is actually what you want, this needs to get done. Y'all need to start listening to each other, and you need to start trusting your man a little bit more.